You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we got 3 potential head coaching candidates for the Cleveland Browns. They're doing their Dan pitchers and guys of that ilk right now. They did interview Jim Schwartz, Tommy Rees. Not a chance I'm hiring Tommy Rees. As personally speaking, I wouldn't bring him back as OC, but for some reason, colleges and some NFL teams are ate up with that guy. Were you that impressed with Tommy Rees? I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. Jim Schwartz, I get giving him a legitimate look. But it's very interesting. We have now, Tony Grossi has revealed the demands that John Harbaugh has for a club like the Browns. All right, so at some point we knew something was going to emerge. I heard this morning on ESPN Cleveland, and this is speculation, but evidently John Harbaugh may interview with the Browns next week. All right, these are the demands by way of Tony Grossi.
I talked to a league insider who speculates on what he's heard about Harbaugh's prerequisites to even be interested in your job.
Okay.
$20 million a year.
Not a problem.
Not a problem. $10 million assistant coach budget.
Not a problem.
Okay. Total authority over the roster. And also would like to select his own guy to lean on, personnel guy.
Okay, so would he be making the draft picks? Like, you're going to ask this guy? That kind of makes me feel uneasy. Does he want more say over the roster than what he had in Baltimore?
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
Which would be a total change in the structure here. I think there are 4 definite candidates for Harbaugh to end up with. Cleveland now is, I think, 4th.
Okay.
Miami.
The Giants.
And Atlanta. I talked to a league insider.
Okay, so $20 million a year, no problem. $10 million staff salaries, that's nothing, no problem. Total control over roster. Now, it depends on what that means, and I wonder, is he wanting total control as in the draft, or is he wanting total control as in who he starts at as his quarterback? Because we know Cleveland decided to tell the head coach who the hell they were starting at quarterback, and for most head coaches, that's a damn issue. They're not okay with it. Most of the head coaches. And honestly, Kevin Stefanski should have said, get fucked. You're not telling me who I'm starting on my team at quarterback. Outside of the owner. All right. Now, I understand Jimmy Haslam coming around to Stefanski and being like, hey, we want to get a look at Shedeur. All right. The season's not going anywhere, blah, blah, blah. We drafted him. Let's see what he's got. I understand that. What I don't understand is trading your damn starting quarterback out from underneath your nose, which is trading Joe Flacco out of nowhere, not telling your coach. That's shitty. I don't care what kind of franchise you are. That's a bullshit thing to do to your head football coach. I'm sure John Harbaugh saw that and is very aware of that. He's also very aware that Kevin Stefanski is one of the leading contenders for jobs right now. But there are ties to Cleveland for Harbaugh. In fact, I believe he's a Cleveland Browns fan, grew up a Cleveland Browns fan. So anyway, there's word he may get an interview next week. Jesse Minter. All right, the Browns have requested an interview. Chargers DC Jesse Minter for the head coaching opening per Tom Pelissero. I would guess he should automatically be in your top 3 top 3 candidates. I will be shocked if he doesn't get a job, and frankly, I'm going to be floored if he's not the Ravens' next coach. You know, it just seemed like a natural. Once you fire John Harbaugh, Jesse Minter, who got ties to the Ravens, It just felt like that's going to be the next step. There, you see it right there. Requested permission, Chargers defensive coordinator. In case you want a little 411 on this guy, I mean, he's got plenty of experience, a ton of experience. Indiana State linebackers coach, defensive coordinator. Georgia State defensive coordinator. Vanderbilt defensive coordinator. Michigan 2022-2023 defensive coordinator, won a national championship. Ravens defensive assistant, assistant defensive backs coach, defensive backs coach. Chargers defensive coordinator last year and today. By the way, 2022, number 6 defense in the country with Michigan. Led the Chargers in defense for points per game last year in the National Football League for the Chargers. He's a hell of a defensive mind. Now, so's Jim Schwartz. So you may be like, well, what's the point of, well, the point is one guy is much younger and going to have a lot more, line on the rope to be, he can coach a lot longer if it works out. The direction, a lot of people are saying, well, you got to go offense. Well, Mike McDaniel's doing awfully well with Seattle. They're the first overall seed in the NFC. He's a defensive coach. Guess where? From the Ravens. And here's the next one. The Browns are interested in Mike McDaniel, who was fired Thursday by the Dolphins for their head coaching vacancy. He was a wide receiver coach in Cleveland. Guys, this could actually happen, I think. It wouldn't shock me a bit. He's been a topic of conversation by the Browns before. He's got ties to Shanahan. He was a wide receiver coach with the Browns. Andrew Berry likes him. He's an offensive coach. And I will tell you this. If he can make Tua look as good as he looked with that lack of arm strength, lack of height, if you're a Shedeur Sanders fan, he might look really good in Mike McDaniel's offense. There's a world where he could look really good in that offense because he does like Kyle Shanahan, he does two things extraordinarily well. He puts together a really good running game, and it's a dynamic running game. All right, with all the ebbs and flows and bells and whistles of Shanahan. And he does a remarkable job at plotting and planning to get the first guy open, the first read open, which is exactly what a young quarterback needs. Shadeur's got a much better arm than Tua. He's taller. He's more mobile. There's a world where that actually could fit. And what if you could, let's say, McDaniel as the head coach and Jim Schwartz as the DC. If you could keep that band together and do that, McDaniel's over the head coach over the offense, Jim Schwartz, head coach over the defense, get some more players in and get a couple of wide receivers in there, yada, yada, yada. I mean, and look, we can say what we want, but McDaniel got a little bit of an eye for Jalen Waddles and Tyreek Hills and Devon Achans and those kind of guys, actual playmakers. Good God, I think Darren Waller had 6 touchdowns this year after setting a year out. What could he do when Njoku and Fannin and Quinshon Judkins? That's a real out of these 3 candidates, Mike McDaniel's the realest possibility of the bunch. Now, could they, in theory, flip that scenario and hire Schwartz as the head coach and McDaniel as a maybe? maybe. But I think there's going to be a couple of other teams that jump in on McDaniel for head coach. It wouldn't shock me if the Titans get involved there. By the way, I'm going to continue to say, guys, have you ever looked at the numbers, the coaching records of Sean Payton, John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, and Mike McCarthy? They're all virtually identical. Long tenures in the league, one Super Bowl ring, blah, 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 blah. The point is, if I'm the Browns, I just go hire Mike McCarthy. You've already seen he can work. He worked with Aaron Rodgers, worked with Dak Prescott. I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. But I kind of get why the Browns would at least consider. And look, he's in demand everywhere as an OC. And how's that going to work? He's going to go to the Eagles or he's going to go to the Lions as an OC. And then the following year, he's going to be a head coach again somewhere anyway. So some team, in theory, could just go ahead and pull the trigger now. I mean, look, the Dolphins have been dysfunctional forever, a lot like the Browns. So, I don't know. Was it McDaniel or was it the Dolphins? Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.